Do you have any question in this class? Any question? Okay. So if no question, let me go on with some of the, that we learned about the process array, right? You know the process of array, right? So the definition array, what is array? Array is a series of or list variable item stored continuously in memory location, right? And all the variables they share the same name and must be on the same data type. Right? It's not exactly the same with the list when you work the Python. And for each variable it have the different subscript or index here, right? Okay, so see in the array here, all of the element here, number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, they have the same name integrate here, right? The only difference between them is the index here. Okay, and you remember that in the case of array here, element it is an item in the array, and subscript or index is a position number an item in array starting from number 0. Remember that when you work with the array or list, the first index or first subscript is starting from 0. Right? Come on over to 1 less than the number of element in the array here. And remember that the index or subscripts are only in whole integer number here. And the size of array is the number of element in whole here, right? And for each array element here can be used the same way as a single item of the same data. For example, we have grade 0, grade number 3, right? So remember one thing very important here. So I see that some of you make mistake here. Remember that whenever you use array, you have to use a combination of array name and index number. Okay, let me make sure you understand the first step here. So you know that the process of array, and if you want to create and load data in array here, so you have many ways to create it, right? One of the way you can create it manually here. Think about I manually create my list, it's empty list here, or I can manually create my array with a 3 element here, 1, 2, 3 here, right? And in the case of Python, right, I can generate my list with 0 with the 10 element and all of them 0 here. That's the way it works in Python, right? So basically, in order to load data in the array, right? So think about if I want to if you want to enter if you want to get the multiple name for multiple student in the class here, and you store it in the array, right? Think about that's one of the concept here. I mentioned that whenever you work with the array, you always have to think of working with loop here, right? It working the loop. So basically, in order to load data in the array here, remember the first concept here, you have to use the loop, right? And you can. In order to work with array indefinite number of elements, I think about you know for sure that you have the 10 students in the class here. It should be better you use a for loop, right? Because you know for sure that it will execute for 10 iterations here, right? But in the case of array with indefinite number of elements here, you use a while loop. I think about you keep asking user please enter the name and until the user enter exit, right? Okay, so that is the case. You create the load and load data into the array for definite number of iteration. I use a for loop here, right? So think about I want to ask user to enter the 10 number here, right? So I just define my array number and 10 element here, right? And now I do the for loop because that is definite number of iteration. I don't need for 10 times for sure, right? That's why I have for starting I0 here, and I keep doing it until keep doing it if the I less than 10 here, right? I keep doing it, and every step here, step number 1, you have the after each iteration with the loop here, you increase I by 1, right? Okay, so that's the case you work with the definite number of element in the for loop here. So basically, in the array, or you work with pseudocode, or you work with any programming language here. Remember that if you want to load data in the definite number of iteration, it should be better you work with the for loop here. Of course, you also able to work with the while loop here, right? Think about if I modify my program. Right? So in order to work with the for loop here, right? So I put I here equal to 0, right? I here equal to 0, and I keep doing it. I keep doing it to while loop here. Right? I have y I less than number 10, right? And I keep doing it. And y less than number 10. Now I have input here, and remember that each step of the loop here, you need to increase y by 1. Sorry, equal I. Okay, that's all. That is when you work with the while loop here. Sorry. And while. Okay. So basically, this program is the same with the for loop here, right? But it works well with the both of the for and while here. But normally with the definite number of element here, it should be better in the for loop because you know for sure how many iterations, right? Okay. You can do this one with the while also. It's up there. Okay. Now, so in the case, right? In the case if you want to, uh, load data into the array with indefinite number of iteration here, I mentioned that it is a while, right? Because you do not know for sure how many iteration here, right? So think about you asking user enter the number here, right? And that's the case you work the while here, right? So when you keep asking user enter the number and until the user enter number 0 here, right? So the user is the one who determines how many elements in the array here, right? So he keep asking it, please enter here. So in the case of while loop, you know that you have initialized the variable before the loop, right? Right. So also many important thing here. I mentioned it already. So in that case, if you work with a sentinel control here, you should not immediately get the number and store it into the array. Right? You have to check the condition first. If it's true, you store it into the array later. Do not immediately install it into the array, right? So that's why I see if I want to store into the array name number here, now I store the number, John number here, not I do not immediately store it in the array here, right? Because the purpose here, I keep asking user enter the number, and I only store number into the array if the number is not 0 here. Make sense? That's why here I keep asking him, right? What is your number? What is your number here, right? So now if he's got the number here, I store it later here in the body of the loop here, right? So after that, again, I get your number again and I check it again. If not 0, I store it again later here. Okay, that is the case of the while loop here. And also, the process of array here. You know the process how to load in that data in the array here. And also, if you want to take it out every single element of the array, again, you have to think about loop, right? Again, you have to think about loop, right? So basically, you think about in the case if you want to work with specific number, specific element in the array here, you can use a combination of number here, right? Right? So if we put number 2 or number 3 or number 4 here, right? So remember number 2 here, that means third element, right? Number 3 here, that means fourth element, and number 4 here is the fifth element. Right? You can do it manually one by one, but I mentioned that whenever you work with the array here, you always have to think about working with the loop here, right? So if I have the number here and I want to print it out every single element of the array here, I use the length function. That's what I show you in the class already. Now we move to the sum of the application of the array here, right? Sum of the application is the array here. The first one is by the sum and average. We do it actually. You do the same with the loop here, right? You have the array here, right? So you run it from the first element to the last element here. Remember that in any programming language, normally they support the length function here. Some of them they are length also. But anyway, the length function here already return how many elements you have in the array, right? So we run it from the first element to the last element here. You have the step number 1 here, and you just sum it up with the accumulator here. That is the process you work with the accumulator, right? So when you find out the total here, you can find out the average here. Average actually, you want the total divided by the number of elements. That's all, right? And in the process, if you want to find the minimum and maximum, I already mentioned it to you, right? So basically, in the process, you have the array here already, right? And if you want to find for the minimum and maximum number here, you just assign both minimum and maximum number to the first element here, right? And now we run the loop. You scan it from the second element to the last element here, right? So for each iteration in the body of the loop, right? You just compare here, each minimum greater than number here, for sure it's not minimum. You just swap it together, right? You just swap it together. You just set the minimum is number here. Okay. So I hope that you got the concept when you find out the minimum and not maximum now. Now the third one is that you can use a loop here very efficient when you replace the netted decision. Now think about, I want to write a program. I want to write a program for the HR report here. So in this report here, I have the multiple employee in my company, right? So I raise the question to every single employee here. How many child you have? How many children you have here, right? So it can be 0, it can be 1, it can be 2, it can be 3, it can be 4, it can be 5. Okay. Just need. Let me focus here, right? Otherwise, you don't have to. Okay. Now for the HR report here, right? You want to list employee who have the claim 0 to 5 dependent here. Right? So you want to make our report. You want to print out the report here. How many employee with 0 dependent? How many employee with 1? How many employee 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here? Right? So in order to do that, you have to raise the question: how many dependent you have? Right? So how we do it? You have to maintain accumulator here. But what do you think? How many accumulator you have to maintain? 6. Right? So instead of 1 accumulator here, you have to maintain 6 accumulator. 1 is for count number 0 here, that means 0 dependent. Right? Count number 1 here, that means 1 dependent. Count number 2 here, that means 2 dependent. Right? So now think about, I have multiple employees here, right? So I raise the question: how many of you have 0 dependent? So if he answer he have 0 dependent here, I increase it by 1. Right? And again, I ask another employee here, how many employee? Sorry, how many dependent he have? Again, he tell me that he have 0 here. I increase it by 1, so I have 2 here. Right? So basically, that is that in order to do that, you have to maintain 6 accumulator here separately. Make sense? Okay. So now you raise a question here. You raise a question: how many dependent here? So we see you have to maintain about 6 dependent count accumulator. Right? So now how we do it here, right? So see, I have the loop here, right? You see, actually I have the loop here. What is the loop here? Loop here for multiple employees. Right? I keep it for the first one, the second one, the third one, the fourth one, and the fifth one, and so on. I do the loop for multiple one. Right? How many dependent? How many dependent you have? How many dependent you have? Right? But each of them, they answer here. It might be 0, it might be 1, it might be 2, it might be 3, it might be 4, or maybe 5 here. Right? Okay. So see, if he answers me that I have 0 dependent, I increase the counter 0 here. That is accumulator, right? And if he answers that he have the 1 dependent, I increase the counter number 1. That is the process of accumulator. Make sense? But the accumulator here is only increase the step by 1 only. You got it? Okay. So see, in the process here, I work this one with the flowchart here, and I work this one with the zero code here. So that's the process of netted decision, right? Netted decision, because you break it down: if else, if else, if else, if else here. That is netted decision, right? Now, if you look on this program here, you can tell me what you can do better with this program. What you can do better with this program. Now tell me. What? Give me some suggestion here. What should you do to make it better? What should you do to make it better? What should you do to make it better? Now, I give you some hint here. You see, I have DAP number 1, 0 number 1. I have cow 0, cow 1, cow 2, cow 3, cow 4, cow 5. What you can see here, cow 0, cow 1, cow 2, cow 3, cow 4, cow 5. They look quite similar. Make sense? They look quite similar here. They have the same cow here, but the only difference here 0 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here. So why don't you use the array? You know that array, they have the same name, right? The only difference in the array is index number. So you can think about this one here. You can think about this one here. This is array, and this is index number. This is array, and this is index number. This is array, and this is index number. Now, for this program, you see, right now, if you look on this program here, at the end of my program, if I want to print it out, how many employee with 0 independent, with 1 dependent, with 2 dependent, with 3, with 4, with 5 here. What I do? I have to manually print it out every single one. Right? You see in my program here. In my program here, if I want to print it out, sorry. Right? You see, I have to use a multiple separate input. That's the problem. Right? See, count 0, count 1, count 2, count 3 here. The next decision, it looks very cumbersome. You see, if L, if L, if L. Now, this program only works with the 5 dependent here. But what happens if some of them, they have the 8 and 9 and 10 here? You have to do if L, if L, if L again. Very, very cumbersome, right? And the last, it doesn't scale up to the more dependent here. And the last thing, you have to use a multiple separate output. Right? Think about, I have to print it out, count number 0, count number 1, count number 3, count number 4, count number 5 there here. Let's see if I want to print it out here. Right? I have to do it manually one by one. Right? So now I see, yes, I give you the suggestion already, right? I see that they look quite similar here. They look quite similar here. They have the same count here. The only difference is 0, 1, 2 here. So why don't you use array here? You know, the arrays, they have the same name. The only difference is the index number, right? So now I can modify my program here. I can modify my program here. See, at the beginning here, right? I have to initialize all of them 0 here, manually one by one, right? Manually one by one. Now I can change it by the array here, right? So we see at the beginning here, I initialize the 6 element here and all of them 0 here, right? All of them 0 here. Now, so see, instead of using the count here, now I use the array name and the index number, array name, index number, array name, index number, array name, and index number here. Make sense? Right? Okay. So now, what do you think? What is the improvement from this program with the other one? What is the improvement here?
It use the input that ask for an input of dependence, and then use that to decide which index to use, and then just store that and add one to that index of the array.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, that's very good observation. Anything else? Anything else? Now, think about this one. Think about this one here. At the end of the program, right, I figured out how many, what is the value of count 0, what is the value of count 1, what is the value of count 2 here. So if I want to print it out, every element here, how I do? I do the loop. I do the loop only, right? It's so see, back then here, I have to do it 1, 2, sorry. Back then here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 separate here. Now, what happened here with this program here? Better with declaration. You see, I just declare with the array one time only, right? And what is it? Better with the output. Why better output? You see, I just do the loop here because I have array here, right? You know that whenever I have array here, I can use the loop here. The for loop here for sure, right? Because I have number of iteration for sure already, right? So I use the for loop here. I just print it out number of employee with the counter dependent here. That's all. Make sense? Way better with the program. But it still have a problem here. It still have a problem here because what is the problem here? Again, you still have to use a method decision. And also, again, it not scale up to more dependent here, right? So see, if I have the anyone with a 6 here, again, I have to if and else and if and else and so on. It not scale up before, right? Okay, so all of the thing here, you can make it better by using the loop. Now, again, that is your observation, right? That is your observation. You see, whenever I have 0 here, right? I add it to the count 0. When I have the number 1 here, I add it to count number 1. And whenever I have number 2 here, I count it to number 2, right? So now I do not care how many you have. I do not care how many. So if you answer that I have I here for sure, I increase it in the count I here, right? So I here it can be 0, I here it can be 1, I here it can be 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. It doesn't matter for me. But whatever it is, if you have I dependent here, I need to increase into the count I here, right? So we see in my program here, I replace the whole process of if and else, if and else, if and else, method decision here by the loop, right? So see what happened here. I change the whole thing here. You see, I change the whole thing here by the loop here. Make sense? So we see, I raise the question, how many dependent you have? So we see, it depends. That here, it can be 0, it can be 1, it can be 2, it can be 3, it can be 4, or it can be 5, it doesn't matter. But I know for sure that if you have the depth here, you answer the depth here, I increase it by 1. You got it, the point? You got it or not? Okay, now you see, if I work this one with the Python here, you can see here, right? I raise a question here, right? I enter the number dependent here. So what happened here? So y dependent not -1, that means I do it for multiple employee here, right? I do it for multiple employee here. So each of them, right? Enter how many dependent here. So after that, I just increase the count that here by 1. So that here it can be 1, sorry, it can be 0, can be 1, can be 2, can be 3, can be 4, can be 5. Or even 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It doesn't matter. It scales very well with this one here, right? It scales very well with this one here. You know that back then here for this program, if I have any dependent with 6 or 7 or 8 dependent, I have to if else more, right? I have to work the next decision here. But this one here, it doesn't matter. I only have the one loop here, right? So after that, I can look it up. So see what happened with this one here. I can raise this one to 20. That means I suppose that I have some employee 20 dependent here. It doesn't matter. It scales very well. But the loop here works exactly the same. Right? It works exactly the same. So not insert here. I put in a length of it. Insert of length of count here. Right? So now we see. I can show you what is the improvement here. When you look into the Python here, it's very clearly when you look into Python. The first one. Alright, you see. Okay. So we see this one here, right? This one here, I work with the netted decision, right? So what I have to do here, I have to define 6 of them separately, right? I have to do 6 of them separately here, right? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that means 0 dependent, 1 dependent, and so on here, right? Okay, now whenever I get a number dependent from any employee here, what I have to do, right? I have to check if it's number 0 or not. If number 0, I add it to count 0 here, right? If again, else here, if number dependent number 1 here, I increase by count number 1 here. Actually, in the Python, I do the shortcut here, but actually you have to put it here. The same, right? Yeah, that's the process is the same. That's the process is the same in the Python. So actually, you have count plus here. Actually, it's a count 1 equal to count 1 plus 1. Make sense? Now we see in this program. We see in this program here. It worked well. It worked well, right? And also, I do everything, right? After that here, if I want to print it out, how many dependent with 0, how many employee with 1, how many employee with 2 dependent here, I have to do it separately. Right? Okay, so now see, I run my program here, right? If I run my program here, it works well with this program. Right? When I run my program here, very weird my okay, now see. If I enter 0 here, how many independent you have, right? Another employee here, right? How many independent here? Number 2, number 4, number 2, 1, number 5, number 2, number 0, number 1, number 2, number 4, number 3, and so on. Right? And now I enter negative 1. I quit. So it prints it out, right? It prints it out. I have number of employees 0 dependent here, 2, and so on. It worked well with this one. Alright? But you see, that's the thing here. That's the thing here. The first thing, I have to define it separately. Alright? The second thing here, you look on the if and else. It's very, very cumbersome. Alright? It's not scalable well. So what happened if I have what happened if I have the employee with 6 dependent here? So what is your suggestion with this one? What I have to modify? 6. What I have to modify here? What do you think? I need another count here, right? I need another count. Count 6 here. I put 0 here, right? And what I have to do with this one? Okay, you have to check it here, right? Again, you have to check it here, right? If else and if here, right? Again, if have it here, it's that here equal to not L here, right? You have not L here, not it, right? If L here equal to 5, right? So you have that 5 here, that 5. Like what? Else that means 6, right? Else that means 6 here. That's 6. That's 6. That one. Okay? Yeah. This one work with a 6 here. And again, is the free now here, right? Is the free now here. Again, I need one more free. Right? I will with the 6. Make sense? So you see what this program here, it works. It works. But the thing is that you have many problems here. You have to define them separately. Right? You have multiple if L here is not scale up very well. What happens if someone has the 10 dependent or 15 dependent? Right? It's not scale up. And again, for the output also, you have to do it manually. Understand? Now we see what happened here. Right? I can change it the other one here, right? I can do it by using the array here for this one. This one. Right? And when we compare two programs together. You see? You clearly see what's the difference. The first one, I work with the multiple if and else here, right? On the left here. On the left here, I work with the multiple if and else. You see, my program is look very, very cumbersome here, right? It looks very, very cumbersome here. Right? I have say, I have if and else, I have to print out manually one by one. But you see, on the right here, I change the whole system with the method decision by the while loop here. Make sense? You got the idea, right? You got the idea, right? So I doesn't care, right? See what happened here, right? So I raise the question here. How many dependent here, right? So if he enters 0, I add it to 0, the first element here, right? If he enters number 1, I add it to the second element here. And if he enters number 2, I add it to the third, to the 0, right? 0, 1, 1, and 2, third element here. And so on. Right? That's why you see, whenever he enters an app here, I increase the count that here. 0 to 0, 1 to 1, 2 to 2, and so on. Now you see this program here. This program, if I modify this one, it's not sit here actually. I work with this one. Modify my program is this program here, right? It's a range. Land here. I use the land function here. Land that it works very well. With any number dependent, right? So we think about I have someone that even he have 20 here, I can up it to the 30 here. That's okay. Right? So even that some employee have the 20 dependent here, is that okay? Maybe he got someone adopt here, so we can up to the 20. It doesn't matter, right? So see, it doesn't matter with this program. It works very well with this one. You scale very well with this one here, right? So see, in my program here, you see what happened here. I run this program. I run this program here, right? So use this one. Right? I have 0 here. Right? I have the 15 here. Right? I have 18 here. I have 2. I have 5. I have 6. 1, 0, 3, 5, 6, 2. And if I want to terminate, I just put and -1. So see. Why? I'll say I have to convert this one here, right? Because iterate a blend there where I stop it.
Must be length of the count.
Because I stored, sorry, I stored in the name of the array is count here. Yeah, right. Good observation, right? I think that's there. Where is stop here? But we stop somewhere. I don't see a stop in my program. Look for it. Yeah, because I stopped here. Yeah, right. That's a very good observation. Like cow, because the name of the array here is a cow, not that. Right? Very good observation. Thank you. So see what happened with my program here, right? What happened with my program if I run it here? You can see what happened. Right? So now, number, even that someone with the 20 here, it doesn't matter. Right? 5, 6, 2, 7, 1, 9, 10, 11, 3 again, 0 again, 2 again, and -1, 2, 2 minutes. And see, it worked very well. Huh? You see, it worked very well here. It's the output here. It's the output here. And you can see, right? I have one dependent with 20 here, right? That's why I have one here. Make sense? It worked very well. And you see, you clearly see the improvement here from the first one to the last one here. From the first one on the left and the second one on the right here. See? The step here, I have to do it manually. So what happened if I have the one employee to 20 here, dependent here? I have to count 7, I have to count 8, and up to the 20 here. Right? And also for if and else here, I have to do it 20 times. If and else, right? And also for the output here, I have to do it for 20 times. But now we see, I just have the process to define, initialize the array here, right? I have the process to do the loop here. We see the improvement here. What? Here, right? Yeah. You see the improvement. I change this one. Okay. Yeah. I change this one with this one here. You see, I have to do it for 7, for 8, for 9, 10, or 20 here. I replace the whole system, the whole thing by the array here, right? And see, the most important here. I replace all of the if and L here by the while loop here. Right? And also, I replace the whole thing of the print it out manually here. I do it by the for loop here. That's all. Right? You can see the huge improvement when you work with the loop, when you work the array for this one. Right? You can replace the whole if and else netted decision here by the while loop here. Make sense? Okay. Any question? Let me know. Yeah, so see, the most important concept here. I don't care, right? If you answer that here, I increase in the element like that here. Right? Okay, that's all. That's the thing here. Yeah, no more cumbersome netted decision. Scale up very well to more dependent. Okay. Now we move to the section number 4, searching an array for an exact match here. Right. So think about I have the array here, right? I have array here that I am the shop owner, right? I have multiple items. And each of them they have unique code, unique number, right? Think about I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here. So in my shop, I only have the 6 items here, and each of them they have unique number 106, 108, and so on. Right? So now think about I have some of the customer here, right? So he want to order online, and the first step, if he want to order online, he have to enter the item code, right? So when he enter item code here, I have to look if if it is valid code or not, right? So if anything is not in the range here, right? Sorry, if anything is not in the list here, they are not valid. I think about if he customer enters 110 here, you see, not this one, 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 and not this one. So I tell the customer that this is invalid item, right? And if the customer enters the correct one, think about 307 here, right? So we see this one not, but this one 307 here, right? So I tell that is correct one. So go on, how many items you want to order. So after that, I do with the calculation to find out what is the final bill here, right? Okay. So basically here, in order to do that, that's the process of searching array for an exact match. So what is algorithm? Whenever you got the code from customer, you have to run it from the first element to the last element, right? You compare every number together. Think about if he enters the number 307 here, right? You have to run it from the first one, it's not matched. The second one is not matched. Third one is matched. Good, right? So basically, that is an algorithm here that you're searching array for an exact match. You have to run it from the first element to the last element of the array. Right? So it match it okay. You print it out, it's valid. If not, you have to tell customer that it's not valid. Item here. Right? Okay. So how we do this one here? You can see so how we do this one here. This one you can break it down into modular structure here, get that D and pi item and finish up and so on here. But you see the process here, right? The process here. It maintain about the how it is known that is supposed at the beginning. You have not found it yet. Right? You have not found it yet. So what is it here? You set the sub here that is the index. That index for the first element, right? You know that the index of the first element in the array is number 0, right? So what's it, right? You run it for the size here, right? So you keep doing it if the index here less than size of the array here, right? So for each time here, what is it? You check it here. So if the item here is the same with the element in the array here, right? What is it? You change the flag to the yet here, right? You change the flag to yet here. If not, you go on with the next item. You go on with next item, and so on and so on. Make sense? Okay. So see, think about this one here. You think about this program here. Okay. Think about this one. If I had array here. Open the notepad and we do together with single code here, right? So think about I have item here. And in that I have multiple items. I have 10, I have 14, I have 20, I have 30, I have 67, 80, and so on. I think about that. It's quite simple here. I have them. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 items in my store here. Right? So right now, I have to write the program to ask user enter the item you want to enter the code you want to buy here, right? Item ID you want to buy it here. So you have to tell it is a correct item or not, right? Invalid item or not. Now do it. You can you open the notepad and do it this one is with the zero code, and you can do it with the Python. Okay. Now we write the program to ask user please enter an item ID, right? And you have to look into the array here. You have to tell it's a valid or not. Right? Okay, so now we have to raise the question. You have to get input from user, right? Please enter the item ID or item code, right? Okay, now do it. Is that right in the serial code? You don't have to write the Python right now, right? Okay. Now you know that you need to get it from user, right? You have to use a prompt output, right? To tell user. And item ID or whatever it is, right? You don't use the same name with array. That's why I have problem. Okay? You don't use the same name. Okay. Now you have to write the program. You have to make decision here. If the item ID you got it from customer in the list or not. If in the list you print it out, that is the item ID. That's the correct one. And that's the valid one. If not, you have to tell it is invalid. Now what do you do here? Now you see, you already have the array here. So what type loop you want to do? Definite or indefinite? Definite. Yes, you have the loop here. Sorry, you have array here. You know for sure how many elements you have. You can use the len function. It return how many elements is the array here, right? So now you do the for loop. You run it from the first element to the last element, and every time user compare it matching or not, right? So do it. Not you do it in serial code, not Python, right? Yeah. So you have the for I is 0, for I equal to 0, right? Yes, and comma. And you keep doing no. And keep doing it when I less than what? You keep doing it when less than what? Length, right? Length function, yeah. Length of length of the array name here. Yeah. Okay. And you have step. What is the step here? Yes, that's one, right? You do it one by one. You do it one by one. Yes, that's all. Okay. And now you have to use the indentation inside the body of the loop. You have to use indentation here. Now, what action you have to do? No, actually, for the for in the single code, you have the starting point, you have ending point, and you have the step here, right? So starting point, you have starting from I is equal to 0 first, right? And you keep doing it when yeah, right. You have to use the if here, right? Because you want to check if it's matching or not, right? You have to use if here, right? Yeah, right. Equal what? Yes, right. Yes, good. Just print it out, right? You print it out. That's the value. Now you see, if you look into the slide here, if you look into the slide here, right? So basically, the first step here, you have to set the flag here. Found it is enough. You suppose that at the beginning you have not found it yet, right? And whenever it matching, you change it to the found it to yes here. Okay, and after that you check it again, right? Okay, yeah. Yes, found it, you change it to yes. Okay, okay, so now you done, alright, you done it. Now you see, you go out to the loop. You see, you run it every element already, right? You check it if, right? If matching, you found it here. So at the end of the process, you have two possibilities here. It can be no here, that means you have no anything not matching, right? Or it can be yes, that's why you see, you have to check it again, right? And after that, you make the decision better. Make sense? Yeah. So you see, when you do the loop here, you have two possibilities. You found it or not. If not anything match, you still have the found it no here. You see? If nothing match, you see the found it stay at the no here. But if anything that matching, you change it to yes here. Right? Okay, so at the end of the process, you have two possibilities. Found it no or not. Right? Yes. Yeah, right. Good. That's all, right? Of course, you have start and stop and so on. Right? Remember that you work with the zero code, you have indexation for this one. So everything between the start and stop, you have index. And this one. Yeah, that's a good problem. Now, if you want to compare here, how can you compare like that? I mentioned that if you want to use an array, you have to use a combination of array name and index number. Index number here, right? Okay, so what do you put it here? What do you put on this one? What is index number now? What do you think? What do you want to compare to index number? I. Because I can be 0, 1, 2, 3 here, right? So in the body of the loop, it can be 0 and 1 and 2 and 3. That's the thing, right? Okay. Now, you did very good job. Here. Now, the thing about in the process here, right? If I want to do it here, right? So I need to get from user here, right? I have output. Right? And item ID. Right? And the item ID. That process I want to get it from user. Right? I want to get it from user and I store into the variable name here. Right? Item ID here. Okay, so now I already got the item ID. Now I have to check if it's the number 10, if it's number 14, if number 20, 30, 67, or 80 or not. I have to run the loop from the first element to the last element of the array here, right? And this is the array I will have, so that's why I work with the for loop here. I have for here, I 0, and I less than length, right? That's the length. That's the length of item here. That's the process return. That's the process return how many elements you have in the array. Right? And what's the step here? What's the step here? What do you think? What's the step here? What's the number of steps? Number 1. I do it for the first one, the second one, the third one, and so on here, right? Okay, so I put the number 1. So now for each iteration here, I have to check if here, right? If what? If the item ID here, right? If the item ID here equal to, you know that if you want to compare, you have to use a double equal sign. Right? If you go single, that means a sign here, right? So I check it here. If equal here, right? Item. I work with I here, right? Okay. So what is I? You see, I that means starting from 0, right? Now go back. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and so on. That process that I want to check is the first element, the second element, the third element, and so on. Make sense? Okay. So if here, then, right? So we see in the process here, if you look into the slide here, you have to set it the flag here, right? So I found it at the beginning. I put it now here, right? So actually, I have to put it here, right? Found it here. I put it now at the beginning, right? So now, what happened here? If I found it, I change it to yes. I change it to yes, so I change the file width to yes here. I change the file width to yes. Yes, right? Okay, that's all. So whenever I file width, I change it to yes. If not, it stays no here, right? So see, it's a process here. At the end of the process, you have the two possibilities here. I think about what happened here. If I enter the number 15, right? So what happened? I run for the first one, not match. I don't do anything, right? I run for the second one, not match. I don't do anything. I run for the third one, not match. Don't do anything. The fourth one, not match. The fifth one, not match. The sixth one, not match. I don't do anything with a loop here, right? So at the end of the loop here, the file width stay at no here. We said the file width stay at no here. So see at the end of the process here, when I go with my loop here, I just go over to my program here, right? So if I check it again, if file width here, right, equal to yes, I print it down, right? Then this one and 4, right? And it is a pseudocode you have added. So we have n4 here. Okay, then what has I print it out, right? I output it. How it? Item ID is I got it here, right? I got it item ID. Okay. If not, right? Else. Output. Sorry. It is invalid item ID. Make sense? You guys got it or not? Right? So we see at the end of the process, if not matching any number, it stays at no here and here, right? That's why, sorry, it's invalid item ID. If any number matching here, you will change it to yes here. That's why you print it out yes. You got it? Okay. So now for this one here, you see for this program, I want to modify my program here. Right? I want to modify this one here. I allow the user to enter the one item ID only. But what happens if I want to allow the option for the end user to enter the multiple ID here? What I have to do? This one only one time, right? Enter the one ID only one time. If I want to have option to allow the user customer here to enter the multiple ID, what I have to do? What do you think? Yes, that's all, right? You want to do it for multiple times, for sure you have to work with in the loop here, right? So we can modify it here. Right? Think about enter item ID, right? Think about this one, right? And the negative one, twice it. Make sense? And now user put it in the while loop here. Why here, right? Why here? Alright, why is item ID not negative one? Right? Not negative one. Okay, so user do it here, do it here, do it here, do it here, do it. Sorry, this one. Now, what else? What else?
Enter key needed input for another.
Yes, right? Again, you need to get the item again, right? Otherwise, it stays the same as it's added to. That's all. That's the main logic, right? You see, that's the main logic here. You initialize the item ID before the loop, you check the condition here, and at the end of the body, you need to change the value here. You got the logic now, right? Okay, so now for this program here, right? For this program here, you see, if you write it into the Python, so it's quite simple, right? If you write it in the Python here, so I just copy it here, and modify it a little bit in the Python. Right? I do the new one here. All right, Python here. I have modified a little bit here in the Python here, right? This one not output, right? I have the item ID here. input. From that, you have to convert it to integer number, right? Now, why item ID is not equal to -1? This one is the table of the Python. You have I range and range lang function here, lang item. Okay. You don't have to follow me in the Python. I just want to show you how it works. Copy the same. Okay. Okay, that's all. You see, and I convert it into the Python. So the logic is exactly the same, right? I do it for multiple customer here, right? I do it for multiple. For multiple ID here, right? ID here, right? Item ID here. So see, at the beginning I set the flag no, right? And I get it from user, right? I allow him to do it for multiple times. Keep doing it until he enter negative number 1. Right? So I check here if why the item ID is not -1, I allow him to do it. Right? So every time I run it from the first element to the last element. That is the process for here, right? First element to the last element is array. It's a list here, right? And every time I compare it matching or not. If matching, I change it to yes. Right? If no, I don't do anything. So when I don't do anything, that means it's stay at no here. Make sense? Okay. So now at the end of the process here, I check it here. If I found it, I print it out. If no, I sorry. And keep doing it. Keep doing it. Make sense? Now we see what happened here. You will see what happened when I run my program, right? When I run my program here for this one, right? When I run my program for this one. I have to close this one. Okay. So I run here. I can save it. That's it. So now we see what happened here. If I enter number 15, right? If I enter number 15, the program run not matching with number 10, not matching with 14, not matching with 20, and so on. And you see what happened here. When I enter the number 15 here, and I enter the enter, you see, sorry, it is invalid item ID, right? But if I enter the number 30 here, right? So if I enter the number 30 here, you see what happened here, right? Found it. The item ID is 30 here. Right? And now if I want to exit it here, I just put the -1 here to exit my program. Okay? So basically that's the process. And you see in the slide here, it works exactly the same with the flow chart here. I see you set the flag here, you run it from the first element to the last element, and every time if you found it, you change it to yes here. If no, you don't do anything. Right? And you see at the end of the process here, you have the two possibilities. You can found it or not. If yes, you found it, you print it out here. You got it? Okay. Any question, guys? Let me know. So take a short break for 5 minutes and we come back. Okay, so now you look into the slide here, right? So basically it works pseudocode is quite the same, right? So pseudocode here, right? So see at the beginning here. At the beginning here, right? You set the file width no here, right? And you run it from the first element to the last element here. So basically this one they work with the while loop, but I don't know why they work while loop. It should be better work with the for loop for this one. Right? But anyway, the same process here. You run it from the first element to the last element here and keep doing it. Right? So every time you check it here, If it match, you change it to yes. If no, you do it, right? You just don't do anything with this one. So at the end of the process here, you have the two possibility here. You can file it or not, right? So on. Now, if you look on this program here, you can see one problem with this program. What is it? One problem is this algorithm. I'm not talking about the program. You see in my program here, right? If you see my program here, my program here for this one, right? I run it from the first element to the last element. Right? I have to compare to every single element in the array here. Now I think if you look on this program here, if you look in this algorithm here, what do you think? What's the problem with this one? What you should do it better? What you should do it better? Any suggestion? Now, how many items? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Now, if you think about you are in running a supermarket, you have 1,000 or 10,000 items here, right? So we see the 10,000 item here. What happened? For every program, you have to run it from the first one to 10,000 to check if it's matching or not. It's not good, right? So what happened here? I think about here. I have many number here, right? I have many other number here, right? Item here. But what happened here? If I just enter number 14, I found it. So even that I found it, again, I have to compare it again with the other number here. It's not good at all. I need to terminate it whenever I found it. Make sense? I need to early terminate it here. So instead of checking for every single element in the array here, so we think about this one only 6 elements, but in the array here you might have the 1,000 or 10,000 and more than that. And even that you have to run for every single element to check it here, right? So you need to think about the way you terminate it early whenever you found it. So what do you think? What is the suggestion here? If you want to terminate it, early. If you want to terminate it early, you have many ways to do it.
Yeah, you could set I to be like items.
Huh?
Inside the if, inside the for, you could change I to be the any condition.
What do you think? Yeah, I got the point. You want to change I to the last item, right? Yeah. So in that case, whenever we found it, you terminate it. That's a good point, sir. The thing about this one here. Think about this in my program here. Anyway, you can come back to this one later. We can come back to this one. But for now, I can observe that with my algorithm. Whatever it is, I only have to check for every single element, right? Even that I found it for the first element or second element, I still have to run it to every single element. That's good one, right? Okay, I can come back to this one later. Now you go to the fifth one. The fifth one actually that's the one I give you with in class activity here. So that's why I extend it to today. You don't have to submit it. If for any reason you submit it, you can check it again if correct or not, and you can submit it today. Now for the parallel array. So what is the parallel array? The definition of parallel array here, right? The parallel array here, they are 2 or more array with the same size. Remember, they are same size, right? Think about the case here, right? And think about if I have the multiple item ID here, and for each of them, they have specific price here, right? So the item number 1, code 106, and the price here, 59 cents. And the item 108 here, code 108, and the price here, 99 cents. And so on. Right? They have the same size because they are correlated together. Right? Think about for each of you, you have this name and you have the final grade, name and final grade, name and final grade. Right? Okay, so they are 2 or more array, but remember they on the same side. They have the same size here, right? That's the first thing. That's the first thing. The second thing is that each element in one array is associated with an element in the same relative position. Make sense? That means here 0 to 0, 1 to 1, 2 to 2, 3 to 3, 4 to 4. They are related together, but on the same position. Make sense? Okay, the same position here. Okay. All right. Example item number here, right? So think about this one here, right? think about, I'm asking you that to write the program to enter the ID for multiple item and for price for multiple item here. Now write the program in pseudocode. You can write. Look here. Okay, you do look here. To asking user enter the ID and enter the price, enter the ID and enter the price, and so on and so on. Okay, now do it in pseudocode. So now instead of stored into the one array, you stored into two array here. Right? You store into array here. Now do it. That's the process of loading into the array here. I think about, I'm asking you that you write the program to get from user and enter the ID for 10 items. And enter price for 10 items. And they are parallel array. They are related together. They are associated together. Right? 10 items. That means definite number of iteration. Okay? And you know that when you work the definite number of iteration, you should use a for loop here. Starting point, ending point, and step for the for, right? You won't have the starting point, ending point, and step. Yeah, starting point 0, ending point less than 10, right? That means you keep doing it when less than 10, and step number 1. Okay? Yes. Now, what is your problem? Yeah, what do you think? Yes, that's all. You want to start into the array. Remember that if you want to do the array, you have to use the combination of array name and index number. Right? That's all. See? That's all. It's very simple, right? Okay. Okay, and step, you need step here. Yes, step here number 1, right? Because you do it one by one. Okay, so for each of them, each relation here, what action you have to do? You need to get it from user. You need to get the item ID. You need to get the price, and you start into the array. Okay. That outside. Yes, sure. You have to initialize it before, right? No. You want to get it? You put it inside because you don't have to work with the while loop, right? Yes. So what do you do now? What do you want to start? Input 1. No. You want to start into the array, right? So if you want to start an array, you have to use a combination of array name and index number. Yeah, right. It's starting 0 and 1 and 2 and 3 here. That's right. Yeah, you have to do the same with the price also. Make sense? Okay, that's all. Okay. Now do it, right? So if you want to get it for the 10 number here, right? 10 item here. So here's the item, right? So yes, you can do the start and stop here, but I don't want to just step here, but I need to do item, right? Item here. That is array, right? I have the 10 number. I have the 10 here, right? I have the I define here. That's all. Declaration. Right? So I see. What is it? I want to do it for 10 times, right? For sure, that is number of iteration here. That's definite, right? So I can work the for here. For I equal to 0, that's a starting point. I keep doing it if I less than 10, and every time step number 1 here, that means every time I increase by 1. Every iteration I increase I by 1, right? And now I got it from user, right? I put here. And the item ID, right? What I have to do here? I have to store into the array. And you know that if you want to store array, you have to use a combination of array name and index, right? So here, item here. And this is I because I want to do with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right? Okay. Now I have to do the same. I do the same with the from here price here. Alright, I have tag it, right? So I have to do the same here. I have to do the same here. I put it here. I put enters item price. And I put price here. That's all. Right? And for. That's all. You do it for 10 times. You do the for loop here. Every time, right? Start in the item 0, item 1, item 2, and item 9. Right? And you see, for this one here, actually this one I then copy it here. In the Python, you can see what happened. Right? In the Python here, I have to use a print here. Actually, I have an item. Okay, I do the same. I do the same with the price. For I in range. If you work with the Python, right? For I in range. Number 10. Find the item first. Item 0. I time into 10. Right? Okay, so now I do the same. Price. That's all. Right? That's the process I start into the array here, right? So here, 1, right? 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 10. Cool. I start into the array. Right? So now think about this one. Is it program? Think about if I don't want to work with definite number of iteration here, I can change the while loop. I think about I keep asking user enter item ID here, enter -1 to terminate it. And so I change it with the while loop, right? And every time the process is the same. Make sense? Now that's the way. You start into the array. Now I come with this one. So while working the parallel array, right? I think about the order, customer order an item, the program will check if the order item is a valid item or not, right? If the order item is in the list, print it as associate price. So this one works exactly the same with the process if I find the exact match, right? Find the exact match. So think about this one here. I have 2 array here, right? I have 2 array here. They are parallel array because they have the same size. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Make sense? They are parallel. they have the same size. They are related to each other. Right? 106 right here, 59. 108 price here, 99, and so on. Right? So now I want to write the program, right? I'm asking user enter the code here. The thing about he enters a 307 here. So I look at this one not match, this one match, this one not match, right? This one not match, this one not match, this one match. So when I find out this one match, what I have to do? I have to print it out here. 307 here, and the price here is a 405. And the reason I can tell it because they are related to each other, right? So 307 here, actually it is the item number 2 here. It's index number 2, right? So from index number 2 here, I can take it out from the price here. I can take it out from price number 2 here, 0, 1, 2, and 3 here, right? 4, 5, 5, because they are related together. With the same index, I know the ID. With the same index, I know the ID. From the ID, I know for sure what is the price here, because they are related to either. They have the same index here. Make sense? Okay, that's all. That's the program here, right? That's the program you see. With this one here, right? You see what with this program here, you can see what happened with this program, right? So when I got it from user, here, right? Again, I check it. The same process with check with the exact match here, right? I run it from the first element. Sorry. I run it from the first element. I see at the beginning I've set it now here, black here, right? I run it from the first element. I run it to all to the end of the array here, to the last element. The size, that means the number of elements, right? I run it from first one all over to the last one here. So see, if I found it here, yes, I change it to yes. And of course, I know the price because they are matching with each other by the index number here. Make sense? Okay, so at the end here, if I found it, again, I can print it out. So with this one, work exactly the same with the program. You work with the exact matching. But the only thing is that they are using the parallel order here, and they are related to each other. You got it? So basically, if you look into the in-class activity here, I give you exactly the same. I hope if you understand the concept here, you can do it easily with the in-class activity. Which one? This one, right? Class activity, module number 6. So this one here, right? You have to enter the name and price for multiple items. Again, that's a parallel array, right? It's up to you. You can do with definite number of iteration or indefinite number of iteration. It's up to you. You know that if you want to do it definite number of iteration, you should do with the for loop. If indefinite, you do for while loop. So that's a process. That is a process. I just do it to you. You get it from user and store it into the parallel. Right? And the second one here, you know that the process you find the minimum and maximum. I told you how to do it already. You run it from the first element to the last element here, and you check if it's a minimum or not. What about it? And every time you find maximum here, you have to keep check that one, right? Okay. Yeah, again, this one again, they have a problem here because you have to check for every single element and in the array. Right? So even that I found it in the second or the first element here, again, I have to run it for all elements here. It's not good. Not good at all, right? I have to find the way to terminate it early whenever I found it, and I can show you how to do it later. Yes, that's the one. Improve the search efficiency here, right? So we see in this program here, right? The program should stop searching the array when the match is found, instead of run for every element here, right? Think about you only have a 6 element, it's okay, but what happens you have 1,000 or 10,000 and so on. It really slow down process here, right? So you have to wait, right? The larger array here, the more beneficial it becomes to do early exit here. So how we do it? Early exit, you look on this program. You look on this program here, right? So I run it here. Now what happens? Whenever I change the file here, right? Whenever I change the package file here, what happens? I go back to this one. And now see, if the file here, it no, that means yes here, right? I exit it. I don't have to do it anymore. Make sense? So we see back then here. You see, we compare between the two programs here. Compare between the two programs. Yeah, number 4, right? You see what happened here? That's one. I starting from the first element. I run all over to the last element. Right? So even I found it here, I still go and do it again and again and again and again until the last element. Make sense? Okay. Now I just change it here, right? So I have one more condition here. I have one more condition here, and sorry, and and what? And the power it right? So if no, I still do it. But whenever I found it here, yes, here. So we see what happened. I go back here. Found it now, yes. So the condition here is not true anymore. Right? I exit it. I don't have to do it anymore. Make sense? Okay. Now, if I forgot the program here. This one, yeah. Yes, this one here, right? So see what happened here. You can observe it here, right? You can observe it here. What happened if I enter the item here 106? Yeah, 106 here. You see what happened, right? After I put the 106 here, you can see what happened here. Where am I? Yeah, this one here. Stop it and run it again. All right. So if I want the 106 here, all right. So I do it. Found it no now, right? I do it that 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. See, even that I found it here, I have to run it for all the way here, right? You see, I run it again, right? I run it again here if I want, and it's 106 here. 106 again, right? So see what happened. So see what happened here. I found it, right? See, I changed the found it to no here, right? I changed the found it to here, right? So see the found it now, right? Yes here. Yes here, yes here, yes here. But you see, even that, I have to run it for every element here, right? So now what happened here? I can change this one here, right? What is it? This one the for loop, right? So I can change it here. Actually, it's a Python. You can use a break here, but I don't want to change it because it's zero code, right? So how can I modify it into the thing? I can do it with this one. Yes. This is. I cannot show it with Python because I write in the for loop. But anyway, you see, that's the thing, right? That's the thing. You can, whenever you set it here, yes, right? You can check the condition here again. If found it no, you do it, but not. That means yes, you exit the loop here. Or you can have another way here, right? So think about in this program here, you can do it another way. What happened here? Now you can do it another way. That's the way you tell me. That's the way you tell me. How can you modify it to terminate it early? Okay,
change sub to be
size. Right, good. Right. So see, that's a good way, right? So see, whenever you found it, right? Whenever found it here, you have to sub here. You change it here. You sub equal to size. That means you go to the last item already, right? So see what I see. You just put it here. You see what happened here. After that, the size already. This one is not correct anymore, right? Because the sub already size here already, right? Not anymore. So we see you exit it. That's a good observation, and that's good. That's way to do it. It's very good way. But anyway, you have multiple ways to do it. You have multiple ways to do it here, right? Okay, that's a good, very good observation and very good approach here. Okay, so you just recommend you that instead of searching for every single element from the first one to the last one, you should early exit the loop whenever you found it instead of running every single element here, right? Okay. Yeah, for this one also, right? They keep doing it. If the file is no, but whenever you found it, you check here. It's not correct. You exit the loop here. Now, the last thing that also very I don't think it's the last thing here, but I know the next one here, right? This one, searching array for range match. You know that you learned about the range match in the loop already. And in that you work with the netted selection, right? Netted decision here, right? So think about this one here. You have the range here, right? 208 and so on here. So see, you work with well, not here, right? Yes, you can work with the netted selection here, right? And you see the quantity limit here. You can set it with number 8, number 12, number 50, actually 20, 25 here. Yes, this one you can work with. This one you can work with the netted selection. Make sense? You can work with the netted selection here. That's what you did with the range match when you learn about looping. Sorry, when you learn about the selection. Right? You can do it, but you can replace the whole system here by the looping. Right? So for this one here, right? When you work with arrange match here, right? Arrange match here, right? Programmer may want to work with the range and value array, right? Think from the 1 to 5 or to 20 or to 30 here, right? Think about it's a main order business. You risk customer order data, right? Determine the discount based on the quantity order. Right? So think about in the range less than or equal 8, you have 0 discount. Right? In the range from 9 to 12 here, you have 10% discount. And in the range from the 13 to 25 here, you have the 15 discount, and so on here. More than 26 or more than, you have 20. Right? So in that case here, you have first approach here. You can work with the array with many elements at each possible order to quantity. I think about this one here. Right? And this one here, 67. It depends on the order, number of order, right? So 0, that means, you see, 0 here, that means you enter you order one quantity, you have 0 discount, right? You see for this one here, 0, you order for 1, you order for 2, you order for 3, you order for 4, for 5, for 6, 7, and 8 here, and 8, right? You have, sorry, this one 0, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, you have 0%, right? And now you have 9, 10, 11, 12, you have 10% here. You can do that one. You can do this one here. But what happens this one here? Right? What do you think about this one? What happens this one? You have stored in the multiple element of array here, right? And you don't know how to stop it. So what happens if user order 1,000 or 10,000 here? You need the 10,000 element here, right? It's not the good way. So instead of that one here, right? This is the drawback here. You have required very large array here and use a lot of memory. You know that for each element of array, you have to consume memory here, right? And also you have stored the same value repeatedly. Make sense? Now instead of that, you work with how can you know when you have enough element? This one only 76, but customer can order 1,000 or 10,000, right? Okay. So the other way you can do it here, you have the better approach here. You create 2 parallel array. Remember, when you work the array match here, You work with two parallel array, right? You work with two parallel array here. I think about this one here. One array has the 4 discount rate. You see? 0, 10, 15, 30 here. Right? And what is the other array? One array has a low end. Remember that you have low end of each quantity range. Right? So see, 0 here. Sorry, this one here. 0 discount, 10 discount, 15 discount, 10 discount. That is for one array or discount rate. Right? And one array for the low end here. That is low end. That is low end. That is low end. That is low end. And that's low end. You put it here. And they are parallel array. They are parallel array. Make sense? They have the same size. They are related to each other. Okay? So now how we do this program here? How do this program? You know that of course for this one you can do with the array here, and you can work with the netted decision here. That's okay. But you see, it look for this one here it's very cumbersome. If and L, if and L, if and L. Make sense? If and L, if and L, if and L. It look very cumbersome. This one already have the 4 range, but what happened? You have the 10 range and 15 range and 20 range here. You have the very cumbersome if and L, if and L, if and L. Make sense? So in that case, you don't do it. You don't have to work this one with the range match here, with the netted decision here. Right? You should do with the loop here. You see, in the case you work with the Python here, you have the multiple if and L, if and L, if and L. Right? You can replace this one by this loop here. So how you do the loop? Right? How we do the loop here? You see what happened here. How we do the loop. Now let me explain the process here. So what happened? So I always starting from the discount number, from the quality number limit of the highest number. I starting from that. Right? That's why you see for this one here, right? I have the size here number 1. Actually it's a size minus number 1 here. So what is it? You have 1, 2, 3, 4. You have 4 elements on this one. Right? You have 4 elements in this array here. Now, if I want to starting from the last element, what is the index number? Yes, number 3. Right? That's why you see size minus 1 here. That means I want to starting from the last element. You got my point? I want to starting from last element here. So see, I starting from the last element here. So what happened here? If I enter the number 50 here, what happened? I check with the last element here. 50 greater than this one, right? I know for sure this one is come from the element number 3. So I take it out. I have the 20% discount. You got my point? Now see the process here. The process here. At the beginning, I starting at the last element of both array. I standing from the last element of both array. So when I starting the last element of the last array here, that is index number. Index number, that means the size minus 1. You have the 4 element 1, 2, 3, 4. That's why it's index number 3 here, right? Because you know that index starting from 0. You got it? You got it or not? Let me know. Okay. So now it's starting from the last element of the array. So now we do step by step. So we compare it here, right? So if I enter the number 50, I compare it here, greater than, right? Greater than, I take it out here, 20%. It's correct, right? Now what happened? If I enter the number 20 here, you see, I starting from last this one here, right? 20 here, less than 26. So what happened? Whenever I less than, I move it back to the second one. That's the process here. I move it back to the next element, to the element before that, right? So that's the process here. You minus 1 here, that's the process. You move it to the item. Again, when you move the item again, you check it again. You compare it again. Now you see when I compare 20 here to 13, it's greater than. So whenever greater than, I just take it out and print it out. 15 here, it is a discount price here. Discount rate here. You got it? The process here. Remember the process here. I just want to explain again. I see that somehow this one, the concept here is quite complicated for some of you, right? That's why I want to explain it again. So basically, for the process here, you always starting from the last element. You always starting from the last element of the array. You always starting from the last element, right? So whenever you got the number from the user here, you compare to that number, right? So think about if I have I order for number of order here, number. I always compare to the element you are starting with in the number of order here, right? If less than, if the range here less than the number I order, I just take it out the price, the discount rate. If not less than, I move to the range before that, right? So see, that is process. I starting from the last element. That is process. I move to the element before that, because I move it to the one step here, and one step here. Make sense? Now do it again. If I starting from here, right? If I enter the number 50, see, I starting with number 3 here in the index. That's why I have 20% and 26 here, right? So now I compare it. 26. If I enter the 50, 26 less than. Whenever less than, I immediately take it out the discount rate. Less than, I got the discount rate here, 20%. Right? But what happened here if I enter the number 20? You'll see, this is 26, not less than 20. So when it's not less than 20 here, I have to move it to the 13 here. Right? And I have moved to 15% here. So now again, you see, 13 here, less than 20. So I know for sure this one here is a 15%. And keep doing it. So you see, I replace the whole system by the selection here, by the while loop, by the loop here. Right? It works very well in the case you have many range here. This one you will only have a 4 range. But what happens? You have 10 range or 15 range here. Instead of doing it if and else for multiple times, you replace the whole system here, the whole algorithm here by the loop here. Make sense? It will work very well for any program, any range. Number of range doesn't matter anymore. Make sense? Okay. So see, I hope you understand the concept now. That is the way you work with the loop here. You replace the if and else with the loop. You replace the if and else with the loop here, right? Okay. Now I think the next thing here, okay, see. You can see for this one here. I write it into the Python here. You can see. I write it. Now we take for this one here, right? See, I starting act here is the size -1. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. That means I starting with the index number 3. And you know that index number 3, that means the last index. Sorry, the last element. Right? So see what happened with this my program here. Run my program here, you can see what happened. Alright. Run my program. Okay, now I got it. So we see what happened here. Now, if I enter the number 40 here, sorry, 50 here. So you can see I have the range here, right? So I have the size here, number 4. I have a quantity here, number 50 here, right? So now I run next. What happened here? Right? Now I starting with the size number 4, right? Now number 3. Number 3 here, right? So what's the next number 3? Number 3, that means I starting with the last index here. Right? Last index here. So I compare it here. See, 26 less than, right? See, 26 here. Quantity here, quantity limit. What is it? 26, right? Quantity not less than, right? So see what happened here. I just reduce by 1 here. But this one I don't. I exit the loop here and I bring it down. I have 20%. Right? Okay, and now if I run it again, for this time I enter the number 20. Okay, if I enter the number 20 here, you will see what happened. Alright, I run it. This one not correct. Sorry, this one correct here. I go to the body of the loop. I move to the next step here. Now act number 2, right? Now act number 2. See, I review by act here, and now I check it again. I check it again with the quantity limit number 2 here. That right now it is a 13, right? And 13. Okay, so see 13 not correct. I exit the loop and immediately I bring it down 15%. This one worked very well in any range. I think about this one here. I modify my program, right? I modify my program here. I have the 50 here. I have the 80 here. I have 200 here. Sorry, 80, right? 80 here, 200 here, and 1000 here, right? And of course, I have to modify this one, 0.2 here, right? 0.3 and 0.4 and 0.5. They are parallel, right? 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6. It has the same 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, I need one more. Right? Need one more. Okay, so see, suppose that this one here I'm not starting. I don't want to change it to starting. So it should be better I use a left here. Right? Left quantity. Huh? Huh? Sorry. Because I want it to scale well, right? I don't want it to stay at 4 here. So it works very well with any range. Work every range here, right? So see what happened here. If I enter the 2000, right? If I run my program here, if I enter the 2000, yeah, sorry, right? So what happened here? Yeah, I have 0.6. Immediately, I have 0.6. That's all. I don't have to run everything here, right? And now I run it again. For this one, I have 500 here. I have 500 here for this one. Sorry, 500 here. So we see what happened. I run it, not correct. I reduce to the 200, right? I reduce to 200 here. Now 200, I got it here. 0.5. Right? This one works very well in any range. You instead of you doing the if and L, if and L, if and L, and if and L, it works very well with many range you have. Make sense? Okay. Sometimes you need to do with a two-dimensional array. Right? Think about I have 10 students here. Right? I have 10 students here, and for each of you, you have the to make it simple here, right? I have the, for example, I have a sometimes you have elements that you have to represent by 2 indexes, not instead of 1. Now think about this one. If you look in the table here, right? I have multiple students. And each of them they have 5 data here, right? I have 5 data here. So what is it? In that case, I work with a 2-dimensional array. So what is 2-dimensional array? 2-dimensional array, you have to represent by 2 subscript or 2 indexes here. Right? So think about this one here. Everyone here is the same array, same name. You know that array, they have the same name. Right? Think about I have student here. That is the name of my array. And I represent by the 2 index here. So think about 0 and 2 here. So what is it? 0 here, the first. That is 0 for this student. So we'll see. This is 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. So if I have 0, 2 here, that means I got 87 for this thing. That means for the first student and test number 3, you got my point? Represent by 2 indexes. So now if you look on this table, here, I'm asking you, what is the grade of student 2 and 3 here? Now tell me, what is the grade of student 2 and 3 here? What is it? Yes, 91, right? 91, 2 here, see, that is 0, that is 1, that is 2 here, right? So 2, right? That is 0, that is 1, that is 2, that is 3, that 91, right? So that actually, that is the test number 4 of the student number 3 here, right? And sometimes you have to do it here. Now, I'm asking you if you want to write a program to get the user from user and for multiple student here, and you start with the 4 test here, 5 tests, sorry, 5 tests here. How you do it? You have to do the loop. But how many loop? What do you think? You have multiple students. You have multiple students, and for each of them, you have 5 tests here. Actually, you have to do netted loop here. You got my point? You have the netted loop. Now, first student do it 5 times. Second student do it 5 times. Third student do it 5 times, and so on. The inner loop is a 5 test. The outer loop is student. So basically, when working with the two-dimensional right here, you have to use the netted loop. The outer loop, you can think about the outer loop. Outer loop is it is array here. Outer loop is array, and the inner loop is a column. Sorry, my mistake. The outer loop is a row here, and the inner loop is a column. Make sense? Now we see. Now let me show you how to write the program in the pseudocode here. I think about I have one student only, right? To make it simple, I have only one student here, so I have 4 I 0 I less than 5 and step number 1, right? So I want to start here. I want to output input here and right. I don't want it. The reason that I want to put an correct number, I got one because the index starting from 0, right? Okay, that's why I use this number 1 here. So I start into the correct student. Right? So this one, I work it 5 times. This one only one student. This one only one student here. I work it 5 times, right? I enter the grade here, I start in the right here. But now what happens if I have multiple students here? So if I have multiple students here, I just do the same process. I put this one inside the another loop, right? So see for this one here, right? So I have this one here, right? Outer one here. I have for the j here, right? Equal to 0, right? J less than 10. That's step number 1. That means I do it for 10 students, right? And again, for each time here, for each of them, right? I do it here, but I do it here. But remember this one here. I have to use a combination of the 2 indexes. The outer index here, the first index here, it is for multiple students. The inner index I here, it is for each student, but for 5 tags. You got it? Now, I think it should be better. I show you in the Python here so you can see the process. Yes, this one. Now you see, I have an range of student here and in range of tag here. I start into the parallel array. I have to use the 2 index number, I and j here, right? And j here, and the outer loop here is for student, and the inner loop here is for the text for each student. Right? You don't learn about 2-dimensional in this class here, but I just want to introduce it to you. So basically it's the same. You just have the 2 loop over, right? Okay. Now I think the last section here. The last section here. Swapping. They call it the bubble algorithm. They call it one. Now think about this one here, right? If I have array number here, I have score here 40, 20, and 30, and 50 here. Now, if I want to swap the first element to the last element here, that means if I want to swap this one, if I want to swap this one to this one, and so instead of 40, 20, and 30 and 50 here, I want to write in the 50, 20, and 30 and 40. How will you do it? How will you do it? Simple action here. How do it? This is a pseudo code. Now let me tell me what's the action you do. How you do it? You have the list here. How do it? Now tell me. Yeah, tell me.
You had like score index 0
Mm-hmm.
is equal to score index 3.
Yes.
That would replace it, but then it would
Yes, that's the thing. Yeah, very good observation, right? So yeah, you think that's one here, right? You can think about this one here, right? You can write in the pseudo code here. Right? You have score, right? Number 0, right? You will replace it with score. Number 3. That is 0. That's number 3. So what happened after this step here, right? What happened after this step? So we have score here. 0 here, replaced by 50, right? 20, 30, and 50. Make sense? Thus, after this step, you replace 0 by 3 here. That means actually you assign, not replace. You assign 0 by 3 here. That means you assign 40 by 50. That's all. What is the next action? You totally lost 40 here. You lost it already because it override already. You lost it. So this is not the swap. Yes.
The 40 back.
Sorry?
You just say like
No.
scores.
You can actually you will lost the value here already. I show you to you here that you see the 40, but with this action here, the news are right here. You totally lost the size of 40 already. You got my point? Suppose that I don't care about the number here. Actually, I don't care about it. Think about you. You just want to replace the first element to the last element here. Suppose that I have no idea what I store into the value here. You see, after this one, I lost 40 already. You cannot, yeah. For this one, it's very simple here. Right? You have score here. Number 3. You put the 40 here. That's what you mean? No. Don't do that. Because sometimes you even don't know what is it you have in the element here. Sometimes you don't care. You just purpose of you just swap them together. And even that you don't have to look on this one. So how we do it? You have to store it into some temporary variable. Right? So see what happened here. If I want to swap them together. See. If I want to swap them together. If I want to swap them together here, right? Sorry. The first thing I have to store it to somewhere. Keep it here and take it later. I put it aside and take it later. Right? So think about I have 10 here. I have 10 variable here. Right? I put it score 0. Right? So now I have variable 10 here. 40. Actually, I don't care about the value. I don't care about it. But I know for sure I store it in the 10 value. Right? So now that's good. I have the score here. Number 0. I assign it score number 3. Right? So what happened here? I changed the 50 for this one already. Right? So now my new one here, 20, 30, and 50 here. Right? Now, last step here, I have score number 3. I take it out from 10. Take it out, put it here, and I put it here. Right? So I don't have to care what's the value here. Make sense? You got it? Yeah. Because the variable that means changeable and override. So if you do not use the temporary variable here, it will override here, and you totally lost it. Right? Okay, that's the process of swapping. So remember that if you want to swap two elements in any array here, you have to use a temporary variable. Make sense? Okay. Now, if you look on this program here, if you look in this array here, what is the minimum value and what is the maximum value?
50.
Okay, you can write. Now, if you want to sort it, if I want to sort it into the ascending order, what is it? I have to put here, right? 20 and 30 and 40 and 50 here, right? If I want to sort it, in the ascending order, okay? This one. Now I am asking you, how will you sort it? How we sort it? How we sort it? How we sort it? Algorithm. They call it a bubble algorithm. We call it the bubble. So why is the bubble? Bubble, that means you see, you run everything here, right? You know, the first process here, you have to find the process of minimum and maximum. You know the process already, right? You know the process how to find the minimum and maximum here, right? So now what happened? I run it from the first one, the second one, the third one, the fourth one. So I know that 20 is a minimum number. I know the 20 minimum number, right? So whenever I see the 20 minimum number, I swap it. To the first one, right? So after that, I got it here. 20, 40, and 30, and 50. All right, so now it look better here, right? So what's the next action? I have to run from the second one. I got to correspond to the last one here. I have to find the minimum. But right, so what action? I have to reserve it here. I have to put it aside. I don't touch it anymore. That's called the bubble. That means whenever they are floating it, take it out. Right? So set it aside. 20 here, good no? It's good. Good now, right? Take it out. Keep it here. Don't touch it anymore. Make sense? And now we run it for this one here. I see the 40 and 30. We know that the 30 here is the minimum. Right? So we swapping together. You have 30 and 40 and 50. The way they call the bubble sort. Bubble sort, that means whenever you found the minimum or maximum, take it out, keep it aside, and move on. Okay? Now, see, that's the code here, right? So how we do it? Think about this one here. Right? Actually, you have to use a netted loop here. Now, what is the outer one? The outer one, I run it from the first one to the last element here. Right? I run it from the first one. The second one here, see, the second one actually is the I here, right? The second one here. I do not have to run it from the first element. I have run it from the I here. The I, that means the item I already put it aside. It makes sense? So you can see, how can I show you? And you see, whenever I got it here, that's the process here. I do the swapping. So actually, that's why I mentioned it, how to do the swapping. This one is the process of swapping only. And this algorithm here is the process of bubble sorting. Okay, now let me show you about the Python here. So I hope you got the idea. I think it should be better. I put it into for now you can see what happened. Right? You can see what happened. Now I run it, the outer loop here, I run it from the first element to the last element. So right now I is number 0 at the beginning, right? I is the number 0. You can see at the beginning here, I number 0. You see, I number 0 here, right? I have this one here. Now I check it. The second one, okay. Right? J here, also starting from I. Right? J is starting from I, not from 0. Remember that? J is starting from I because I already take it out from here, right? J starting from I here. So see what happened here. Now you see what happened. The 40 less than right now 40 here, right? That's a 0. You don't do anything this one. Now the second one, you see, right now, you have J here number 1. Right? J here number 1. J here number 1. Right? Because it's starting from I to the length here and step number 1, right? So see what happened. See what happened. You just swap them together, you swapping them together, you swapping together, and swapping together, and swapping together, and so on. At the end of the process, you see what happened. Right? Why? Yeah, they sort it in the descending order. Right? If I want to change it in the ascending order here, I can change this one. I can change this one. Sorry, I can change this one. And I can run it again. Yeah, that's the ascending order. You got it? I think it's quite complicated here, but the process, the algorithm is works exactly the same like it. Right? How can I do? Now, see for this one. I have two loop. That means I run it from first element to the last element. Right? And I have the inner loop J. I starting from I only. I starting from I only, not from 0, right? Not from 0 and to the last element. So we see at the beginning, right? You see at the beginning here. I run it from 0 here. I see that the 20 here, it is a minimum, right? I swap it. That's why I have 20 here and 40 here and 30 here and 50 here. I done it for one iteration in the outer loop. Right? So what is it? After that, I have to increase I by 1. That means I starting from here. So see, J starting from here. Starting from I, not starting from 0. If you put 0, again it's mess. Because that's the bubble. Bubble, that means when you sort it the minimum, you take it out. Starting from I only, not starting from 0. You got my point? Yeah, that's the process of the bubble sorting. And it works very well in any range. Think about here it's only 4 numbers, right? Here's only 4 numbers here, but you can see if I modify my range here, right? If I modify my range here, I have 15, right? I have this 69, it doesn't matter. What doesn't matter? Yeah, you can see what happened with my range, with my program. Right? It sorted very well in any, because it just follows the algorithm only. It doesn't matter of the range of the size of the array here. Right? And if I want to sort it in the descending order here, I just change this one to less than. Right? You see, I sort it in the descending order. Listen, it worked very well in any size, in any array. Okay, so I try to introduce the concept of the swap. The first one is a swap. How to swap it? You know that's a swap. You need to use a temporary variable. Huh? And the second one is a bubble sorting. Bubble sorting, that means whenever you identify the minimum or maximum, take it outside and move on. Don't take it again. Huh? That's why bubble. Bubble, that means floating. Take it out. Okay. Yeah, so we see that's the process here. This one works with size number 4 here, but actually it works with any array size, right? Or if you want to change it to this one, instead of number size here, I just change it to the length, right? I change it to the length. Cool. So when you work with the length of score, it only returns to how many elements, right? So that's this one here. I work this side. This one, sorry, side. This one, I here, right? This one work with any array size. Okay? Okay, so I think that's all for the lecture here, but anyway, let me go over to the sum of the activity here, so I can give you some suggestion how to do it. Yeah, this one, work with the parallel array. You know the process how to load into the parallel array already. And also you know the process how to find the minimum or maximum. So remember, whenever you find out the minimum, what you have? You have to keep track of index number because they are related together, right? So think about you find out the maximum number, index number 3. From that one, you can print the price for number 3 here. Because they are related to each other. You got it? Okay. Now, the second one. This one. This one. Work exactly the same as the slide I showed you. How to work the range. You replace the netted decision by the loop. Starting from the higher range and move on to the next step and so on and so on. Right? So if you look into my slide and if you look into the pseudocode and flowchart in the slide here, you can see it's very simple, this one. Okay? And the third one here. The third one is the Python. Honestly, the Python, I have to tell you that you can generate it from the ChatGPT. Right? That's why I don't give you the activity in Python much because I see that some of you just generate in the ChatGPT. But anyway, you learn it for you. You learn it some concept here, right? So for this program here, you write the program to ask user enters a 15 number in the list. That is negative number iteration. You run it for 15 times by the for loop here. You store it into the array. Right? So when you already have the array, again, you run another loop from the first element to the last element. For each of the iteration here, you make decision if divide by 2 or not. Right? And after that, user print it out it's even or odd. I think this one very simple. And honestly, I give you the idea. Do not use the ChatGPT here. You learn it for yourself. You try. At least you can get the maximum point by using the ChatGPT. I have no way to tell you use it or not. Honestly, I cannot tell. But you learn it for yourself. Try so first. Try by your ability first. Try to do it by yourself first. You learn from that. You learn from some mistake here. Okay. Any question? Let me know. Yeah. So now I don't give you any activity here because the activity I give you on Monday, actually you work with the parallel array. So if you have not do it, you can do it today. You already submit it, it's okay. In the flow chart, you cannot put the for here, right? Yeah, actually the flow this is the decision. You only tell correct or not only. Yeah, so basically for this one you have to check the decision correct or not. If yes, you go to the loop. If no, you exit here. So don't put for here. It's not exactly the for loop or while loop. A for loop that means you maintain the counter, right? If you this one, I don't know if you work this one with the definite or indefinite. If you work with the definite, you use the counter, right? And if you work with indefinite, you use the sentinel conjugated. You got my point?
Okay.
Okay. So now think about this one. If you run it for 10 number here, so you have to maintain the counter. You have initialize counter number 0, and you check the condition here. If count less than 10, keep doing it. And every time it's in the body, you have to count equal count plus 1 here. Make sense? That is definite number. And if you work with indefinite, that means enter a number and enter negative 1 here to exit. So we check if why the number is not negative 1, you do it. Make sense? And don't put this one here. Okay. And if you have any question, if you guys have any question, then if you can share the screen so I can give you I can help you.